10,000 step rule, that the benchmark ought to be 10,000 steps. And should that be a modality that we put our CAVE approved stamp on, as far as a base level, human beings ought to be getting 10,000 steps a day. Human beings ought to be non-sedentary. Having some sort of a tracking mechanism makes it easy for somebody to aspire to that. Just from a health perspective, I've saw a lot of research suggesting that for every 2,000 steps, it prevents premature death by 8 to 11%. We know that there's other factors at play there.
Fuck 10,000 steps. Like, I don't understand. This seems like another one of those convenient numbers that somebody threw out there, and it's now some part of some sort of marketing scheme. And it's, I'm always wary of convenient numbers. And so I started doing a little digging, a little research, and talking with you about it. I've actually become a little more, it's funny, I believe more in it now than I did before. So I went down the rabbit hole and I noticed a few cool things about it. So first off, the history is kind of interesting. So the 10,000 step rule came from, I guess the earliest notation of it came from Japan, and it came from walking clubs from like the 70s. So like these clubs with women, and then it also got hijacked, or not hijacked, but co-opted by a pedometer company that used it in the 70s, early 70s, 80s timeframe, around there. So this is a concept that's been around for quite a while. And it's just obviously with the advent of technology and these, better technology past the pedometer on our phones and on our watches and whatever else electronic metric you might have. I mean, it's essentially something that's almost the gold standard now when it comes to, everything monitors your steps. Obviously with any exercise, like, we don't need to list all the benefits, but like, you got them. It puts a check mark in every box pretty much, just decrease of all cause mortality, lower blood pressure, better sensitivity to insulin, like you name it, it does it. So it's all in all a good thing. But I just thought it was interesting that, maybe start querying myself as like, well, maybe I'm not active enough every day. Yeah, I do my jujitsu, I do my weightlifting, but it's like back to basics. One of the, the important foundational bedrocks is like just movement in general. And that's something that's very left coast, as in like you're in your office all day, you're in your computer, and it's like, well, that might be a problem, and maybe I'm not optimizing my life the way it should be. So over the last week, I've been experimenting with it. And actually, as you saw, I did a little algebra the other day, which I was amazed to see that I could still do that and create some proportions, because I wanted to understand how long it would take me to do 10,000 steps. And as they define it, 10,000 steps is roughly 4.5 to 5 miles. And that's dependent on your height, legs, stride, all those things. So it's a rough number, but roughly, and in terms of time, it takes about, and this is off of my metric, about 70 minutes to hit that 10,000 for a day. My big, conclusion on this thus far is got to move every day. And an electronic device to monitor your steps helps you understand what your movement looks like, and maybe helps you also set goals to, how much, you should maybe aim for every day and whatnot. So you get what you measure.